All right, so looking at part one, we're going to do a round of different tests, okay, where we're going to essentially take different amounts of baking soda and add it to the bags and try to see what kind of gas is released when we change that amount, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work with the 0.5, so I'm just going to go in order. So this is 0.5 grams that I measured out of baking soda. Pouring it into the bag. And then what's going to happen is I'm going to add this vinegar, and as soon as I add it, you'll need to have a phone or something nearby that you can time this of the reaction, okay? So as soon as I add it, I'm going to say start, and then when it's done reacting, I'm going to say stop, and you're going to record that time into the data table, okay? So here we go, adding the vinegar. So go ahead and start the timer. Sealing it here so we can see this. I'll tell you when to stop here. All right, let's stop the timer. Fix this done. So to show you how much air is in here, I'm going to try to show you. You can see it there, okay? Now we're going to do a test for the excess stuff here at the end, just because if I do that now, you won't be able to see them to compare kind of sizing later. So I'm going to do a test later to see what that extra is to fill out that column of the table. But right now you should have your timing for the reaction and kind of some descriptions of it. So it's not, not that full as you can see. It's cold, like cool, I would say, but that's what that essentially looks like, okay? All right, so I'm going to do the next one then. So moving down the line, so I'm going to do 1 gram next of the baking soda. So here's the 1 gram of baking soda in there. I'll pour it into my bag. I'm going to seal half the bag. Again, get your timer ready. As soon as I put it in, I'll tell you when to start, and then I'll tell you when to stop here at the end. I'm going to pour it in. Let's start it. And let's stop it, okay? So the size of this one, so you can see it, turn it as best I can here, okay? This one's cool as well. You can see there's obviously still some liquid down here at the bottom, okay? And we'll work with that excess part of the table here again, like I said at the end. So that's the second test of 1. Now let's get to 1.5 grams next. I pour it in here. I'm going to seal up part of it, and again, timer should be ready here so that as soon as I add it, we can start it. So 25 milliliters going in. So let's start your timer. And let's stop that timer, okay? So again, this one's cool as well. You can see the sizing of it there, so you can describe it, okay? That's bag 3. So bag 4, we've got 2.5 grams going in. I'm sorry, we got 2. So 0.5, 1.5, so this is 2 grams going in. So I'm going to seal half of it just like we've been doing. So I've added that to the bottom. I'm going to pour in my 25 milliliters, and then you'll start a timer here as soon as I do. 25 milliliters going in. Let's start the timer. Just mixing it up here as it's reacting. and stop the timer. And this is what this one looks like. Okay, so you can see cool again, but you can see in terms of how filled it is. So it's especially cool, obviously, at the bottom where the liquid is. All right, 2 more left. So the next one here. So pouring in 2.5 grams this time baking soda. And I'm going to pour in my 25 milliliters. Start your timer. And let's go ahead and stop that timer. This one, okay, again, cool at the bottom. I would say it's a little bit cooler now. And you can see how full it is. Okay. And our last one of 3 grams going in. And 25 milliliters going in. Start your timer. And I would say let's stop that timer. Okay, that's what this one looks like, so you can see it. We've got a lot of bubbles there at the bottom that are still just kind of there, right? It's just the gas leaving the liquid there as it's reacting, okay? But I'd say it's pretty much done reacting. It's just kind of sitting there at this point, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to look at each of the bags to rank them and how full they are, and then we'll look at the extra part, so if there's anything in excess. So you've got bags. This is number 1 here, okay, and then 2, and I'm going down the line, okay, so you can see how full they are compared to each other. Okay, and if it helps to see an angle like this down the side, you can see all of them there next to each other. Okay, so we can rank how full you think they are compared to each other. Okay. All right, now let's do this excess part. So to figure out if there's excess in there, we want to look for 2 things. Number 1, is there any baking soda at the bottom that's just still sitting there? So definitely not in this first one. Okay, there's no white powder sitting at the bottom. So if that's the case, we want to see, can we add some more baking soda to get it to react? And if so, that means there's extra vinegar just sitting there that hasn't been used. Okay, so I'm going to add some more baking soda in there so we can look at that. There it goes, going in. If it starts bubbling, there's definitely more vinegar in there. Okay, so you can see that it's really starting to bubble, meaning there's extra vinegar just sitting there that wasn't being used yet. Okay, so the extra there was vinegar for bag 1. Bag 2, we look for any signs of solid baking soda sitting at the bottom. So I'd say no again there. So we go, okay, well, is there extra vinegar sitting there? Well, the only way we can tell is if we add more baking soda and it starts reacting. That means there's extra vinegar just waiting to react here. So I'm going to add some in. So instantly it started to bubble up, which means that, yeah, there was extra vinegar just sitting in there that didn't have enough baking soda to react with, okay? But it will react if we add more baking soda to it. So vinegar for that second one too. Okay? Third one, is there any solid baking powder at the bottom, or baking soda, I should say? I would say no, right? So we do the same thing. So we say, okay, well, what is there extra vinegar? Let's find out. Get some here. I'm going to add it. If it starts bubbling, we've got extra vinegar just sitting there waiting. Okay. So it did again, but I would say it was less than the other 2, but there was definitely some extra vinegar sitting there that now we were able to react because we added more baking soda to it. This one, we're looking for any signs of extra baking soda sitting there at the bottom. When we look at this, so sodium bicarbonate is what I'm talking about when I say that. When I look at this, I'm looking to see, okay, do I notice any signs that there might be some? So I don't see any sitting on the bottom, but I'm starting to see it look cloudy, which is suggesting to me that maybe there is some extra um, sodium bicarbonate just sitting in there, making it a little cloudy. Okay, we can test that because if we add more baking soda, we can see if it's going to react again. If there's extra baking soda already in there, then this won't make it react as much. So I'd say it pretty much did nothing when I added it there as opposed to the first two. So that confirmed what I thought, that there was already extra baking soda sitting in there. So now I just added more extra baking soda. So that one had extra baking soda in it. Okay. I look at this one, I'm trying to think the same thing. So is there extra vinegar or baking soda in here? Well, I'm seeing it being cloudy, so it's making me think there's extra baking soda just sitting there, the sodium bicarbonate. Okay. And then in that case, there's already extra there that's not being able to react because there's no more vinegar. So I can confirm that because, again, if I add more baking soda to it, if there's already extra baking soda, then this won't do anything. So you see, it just made the bag cloudy again, okay, but no bubbling, so that's showing me that, yep, there was extra baking soda in there already. And the last one, looking at it, so I'm not going to explain this one, you tell me what you think, and I'm going to add more baking soda to try to help you confirm what you're already thinking, okay? So that's what it looks like normally. Let me add some more baking soda in there. Okay, so hopefully you've got that down then for your data table, okay? So when we look at your data table, you should have it mostly filled out now, right? So if we look at it, you should have your fullness rank. So when we look at that, you're trying to see how full are they compared to each other, okay? So we use the lineup of them in the video. So one is the most full when you do that. Your observations, obviously, you've got a little bit in the description. You can't see it as well, though, obviously, on the video. So you had to kind of go off of what I have. You should have the time that you did, and then you should list what was in excess. So again, if there was extra vinegar or baking soda when we did it, okay? Now, when we do the next part here, we're going to be essentially looking at part two, and part two, you're going to have to see what this looks like from the video here. So I'm going to show you something that you may or may not have seen before. I'm not sure, okay? And we're going to look at what happens when we work with it, okay? So there are a couple companies that make these little balloon packages. The one place I always buy them, they have them seasonal. So because it's Valentine's Day coming up, when I went and got them, these are the Valentine's ones. But they'll have like Christmas ones around Christmas and 4th of July ones I've seen around 4th of July and things like that, okay? It has directions on the back, so I'll let you see those here for a second. So they're called Whack-A-Pack balloons, okay? And essentially, you're seeing the directions there that you want to hit it, okay? And then you're going to let it do its thing, right? So this is what it looks like. It's a sealed package. You won't be able to feel it in person, but if you were to be feeling along here, you can feel that, like when I get to here, there's like something in it. I would say it feels like a little square of something, but I can definitely tell there's something in it, okay? And then we're going to look at what happens when we interact with it, and then I'm going to cut it open to show you what it looks like inside, so that way you can kind of see, since you can't obviously feel it that well, or at all, I should say. You have to go with what I'm saying when I feel it. Okay, so let me just move these things out of the way here real quick. All right, so we're going to essentially work with this, and sometimes these take more than one try, so we'll see what we can do here on the first try, right? So you're going to take this balloon, if you were here in the room, okay, and we're going to basically hit it like the directions are, to literally hit it, and then you'll see what it does afterwards, okay? So if I work with this balloon here, I'm going to take it, I'm going to hit it, I'm gonna spin it so you can see what this side is doing here. Let it go here for another minute and then we'll look at it. Okay, so sometimes these will completely pop out by themselves. You can see it popped open on this side, but it's not popping out of there, so I'm gonna try to help it along here if I can. Sometimes I've seen these pop up a couple feet, actually. People have tried them. So what I'm doing right now will make sense when you see what it looks like inside, okay? Okay, it's close. I'm gonna help it out here. So like I said, if it's a good one, it'll pop like out up in the air a few feet even with this. Yeah, I can see it's doing more now. So I don't know if you can see on the video, but it is inflating more right now. Okay. Now, this balloon itself, when we look at it, I've worked with these and cut these open and stuff before, so I know what's in there. Right now I'm trying to help it react. So it actually uses two chemicals in there. One is citric acid, which is very similar to the sodium bicarbonate and what it does in this reaction. But when we look at this, if I look at this balloon itself, the way that it works, when I cut this open, you'll see it. Peel it open here carefully. I want you guys to be able to see what the inside looks like here. It's a little messy, so hang on. So I'm going to let you see down in there so you can see what it looks like. Okay. Oh, great. And then get this off my computer here. There's a little pack in there. I'm not sure if you can see it. I'm going to take it out here in a second, but if you can see it down in there first, to believe me that it came from there. Okay. So I'm going to get this pack out, but it looks like this. Okay. So essentially what happens is they separated the two compounds that were in here. So imagine essentially the vinegar and baking soda. It works very similar to that. But they separated one in this pack and the other one was just in the balloon material. So then when you hit it hard, you pop this open, this little packet here, and then you can get the two of them to react together once they're allowed to like touch each other in terms of space. Because right before they were separated, one was in this little packet here, the other one was just sitting in this foil. And then once they could start reacting, they released a gas which started to fill it up. Okay, so that's what that looks like. But it's one of the times you can see these reactions in action here. And we're going to look at part 3, then we're going to have you looking into airbags a little bit more.